Hello there everyone and welcome back to the channel. We're in the Performance Centre here at Howley Hall Golf Club in Leeds and I'm joined by our very own Mr. Derek Clements. Derek, you're coming to sort of driver, aren't you? Yeah.
I am indeed. Can't hit it so
okay, struggling with this one, had it for a little while and yeah, we're going to try and find something a little bit better. So talk to us a bit about this. How long have you had it? What's going wrong? What's the sort of bad shots you keep hitting?
I got it last year. I was fitted for it. Along with a full set of clubs. The rest of the bag is absolutely fine. This thing, I just squirt everything right.
Okay.
No distance. I've been out driven by 80-year-old men.
Okay.
And it's just not fun.
Fine. So we want to try and find something that's going to go a little straighter and hopefully a little bit further. Yeah. Shouldn't be a problem today. We have kind of hit some shots in here before, haven't we? Probably a few weeks ago, and kind of got a bit of a kind of look at your game and kind of your misses and kind of. I'm not going into this blind, so it's a bit different to a lot of the fits I do where, you know, I'm getting a customer that comes in, I've never seen them hit a golf shot before. We're a little bit different here, we know a little bit of the background and yeah, hopefully we can sort that out. But to start with, let's go hit some, let's get warmed up and then we'll kind of talk through it as we go.
Right. And I know I should be coming more on the inside, but I find it quite difficult because I've still got a lot of pain in this shoulder. So
yeah, and massively something that we would tend to talk about as well when fitting golfers is any limitations you might have, any injuries you've got, any reason why your swing might be a certain way. Because we all kind of battle through these things to try and keep playing golf, don't we? Absolutely. And generally, that's going to change the swing a bit and therefore the types of shots you hit. So. Was consistent, definitely.
Is.
So if we have a bit of a look at where most of these shots are going, we can see all of them exactly where we expect them to be, bar one, and that kind of push slides going a little bit right, going right, aren't they? Yeah. So for me, that's the number one thing we've got to try and sort out. Now, you know, we're not going to find a golf club that is a magic wand. It's not just going to change that completely, but we look at some of the technique side of stuff and kind of see what we can do to a golf club to try and help us to, you know, just basically make it a bit more efficient. So when we're looking at your technique, we can see pathwise, it's a little out to in, so we'd expect you to hit that little bit of a fade, but on average, the face is open to target, okay? So if we're swinging left, and the face is right, we're going to have a shot that's not coming off particularly efficiently. And one of the things that it's going to affect quite massively is spin. Okay, it's going to make it spin a lot, kind of climb into the air, be quite a softer, more kind of spinny flight that rises, maybe doesn't go as far or as penetrating as we'd like it to. Okay, so
there's one thing I don't understand.
Yeah.
It's only the driver.
Okay, fine.
I'm hitting massively right. Everything else is going just about where I wanted to go.
It may just be down to finding something that's that feels a little bit nicer, so you can feel like you can time the face a little bit more. The overriding things it's launching too high, spinning too much, and we're struggling to time the face, aren't we? Yeah? So those are the three things I want to focus on today, really. Try this to start with. So we're going to go, this is the Qi10 Max, 10.5 degrees. And we're just going to put a 50-gram shaft in it. So let's just have a bit of a hit with that. And the big story with Qi10 Max, obviously, this year is about the 10k MOI, yeah? So making it as forgiving as possible. And 10,000 MOI is basically that if you hit it out the heel and the toe, the head stays relatively square, okay? And MOI is all about that resistance to twisting, stopping the driver from moving, because we know we're not going to hit it out the middle of the face all the time, nobody does. But if we can have a driver there that's going to allow you to get away with that a little bit more, potentially for someone like yourself where the face might be a little open, or the strikes sometimes, if we look at the strike pattern on your driver, we can see a lot of them are towards the heel, aren't they? Yeah. So they're kind of, we've not really explored much of this part of the face at all, but yeah, generally those heel strikes would tend to make the ball spin a little bit more as well, so that might be something to do with it. And whenever we see like a pattern like that, that kind of rings alarm bells for me as to is the length of the driver right as well, yeah, because that can play a huge part in moving the strike more towards the centre. So we'll try this as a standard length to start with, but maybe that we look at something potentially slightly shorter. Good.
I know it's still going right, but it feels much more comfortable. It just feels lighter.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at the two shots you've hit there, whilst I still think we need the spin rate is something we need to sort out, but we can see the spin has now got under that 3,000 RPM, and we can see in terms of the path and the face, all of a sudden, instead of having such a wide gap between the two, they've kind of bunched up a little bit. So I would expect you, when you're playing well, to hit a little fade anyway, yeah? But to do that, it's got to start left, doesn't it? It's got to start just left of target and move back onto it. And at the minute, it's starting right with a fade, isn't it? Which is obviously leading to some problems and destroying the distance.
Yeah, let's call it what it is. It's a slice. It's not a fade.
Well, it is at the minute because it starts right and goes right. But what we're trying to get is, if it starts left and finishes on target, then it's a fade, isn't it? Yeah. First one we've started left of target, so let's see what happens there. So yeah, that's more like the shot shape we want to see, isn't it? Yeah, so something that just starts down the left hand side and is moving back onto it, absolutely, yeah. Right, we're just going to try something with a shorter shaft, okay? Just to see what it actually feels like, rather than you having to grip down.
Okay.
And that would be quite a bit shorter than what you've been hitting. So I just want to see what it's like.
How many inches have you knocked off this?
About 1.5 inches short on the one that you were hitting before, so it's quite a bit. I just wanted to go extreme, really, just to see what it was like. Good.
That feels 100
Miles
times
better.
better.
Yeah. I mean, the strikes are better straight away. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's it. See, the thing that you are always wary of shortening golf clubs is it going to make the club head speed come down, and is it going to make the distance come down? And certainly,
it hasn't, has it?
No. In fact, it's not really changed at all. So, if we're looking at what we were swinging all of these, so 78, 79, 80, 79.7, this is, so there's no difference in the club head speed. But what we are getting is more centred strikes, isn't it? We're hitting it more out of the middle of the face, okay? So for me, that is the most important thing. If the club head speed stays somewhere similar, and we can improve strike, we're going to hit it further, aren't we?
Yeah, this feels much better.
So this is probably down to, you've obviously experimented with playing with your wife's driver, haven't you? Yeah, which is probably closer in length, like I said, to that. It's still a nice light shaft, but again, we've gone, so that's the 9-degree head in Qi10. And I've set it just a tiny bit more loft in it, so it's 9.75 degrees is what it actually is. But yeah, I just think we've got to play around with that. And straight away, the spin has really come down quite aggressively, to be honest. And when we're looking at the impact location, whilst it's still a little bit heely and high, it's better, yeah? So it's getting more towards the centre, whereas some of these were significantly heely, weren't they, yeah? When we look at the data between Derek's current driver and the one we've just fitted him for, we can see why we've made the choice. So if we look at his, you can see loads of spin, face is wide open, it's quite high as well, and a lot of the strikes, like we said, are towards the heel. You can really see on his driver face, all the strikes, literally from the middle to the toe, has never been hit. So straight away for me, that was kind of, you know, we need to do something with the length, really, didn't we, Derek? So yeah, we sorted that out. We've got a driver now that you know, is a little shorter in length, so about 1.5 inches shorter actually. But the critical thing is we're not seeing any drop in club speed. In fact, we've actually picked up a little bit. So we've gone from 78 miles an hour with this current one up to 80 miles an hour, which is pretty good. But the biggest difference is not only are we getting a bit more ball speed, so we see we've gone from an average of 113 miles an hour ball speed up to 118 now, so more efficiency. The spin has dropped down, the launch is slightly better, and when we look at the carry, we've gone from 165 to 176, so a nice sort of 10-yard increase. And because the spin has come down nicely, we're seeing the total distance go from 185 to actually just nudge over that 200-yard barrier, so 202 yards there. So 17 yards difference, which is pretty damn good, to be honest. Yeah, certainly that driver, so it was the Qi10 that we ended up with, much better for him to hit, and you can see exactly why with the numbers. So now that we've hit quite a lot of balls, Derek, and seen exactly what's good and bad about every single driver that TaylorMade offer for you, we've come to a bit of a decision, right? So we've gone, definitely shortening the shaft was a massive help, wasn't it? It's made that strike move from quite considerably out the heel, shifted it more towards the centre, which is obviously great for us getting a bit more ball speed. We've gone for standard Qi10 head because it was a little bit more workable for you, and we wanted that face to turn over a little bit more, didn't we, to help us with squaring it up and starting it a little further left of target, so we've got that nice fade bringing it back. So it's 10.5 the head we've gone with, but we've lofted it down ever so slightly, which changes the lie a little bit again to try and help us. And the shaft that we went with was even flow Riptide CB, which again in that senior flex, or A flex as they call it, in 50 grams. And yeah, this is coming in at about 1.5 inches shorter than a standard driver shaft would be. So hopefully all of this is going to help us to hit more fairways. It's going to help us to gain a bit of yardage, and certainly what we're seeing on the track run there, about 10 to 12 yards longer than the driver that you're currently using, and it's going to hit a few more fairways.
It just feels great. I can't wait to go out on the course and try it.
Good. Perfect. So hopefully you've enjoyed that video. It's great to go through a fitting process and try and help someone dial in a golf club to obviously help them play better golf on the golf course. If you've got any comments, drop them in the comment section below and we'll do our best to answer them. Keep watching all of our content on the Golfshake YouTube channel to help you play more and play better. See you soon.